Hi there. Welcome to the iPass 2 launch funnel. And this is a very, very important time in history, and I want to explain to you why. This has been for almost 4 years in the making, and quite honestly, a birth child of mine for the last 3.5, 4 years of my life. So what does that mean? Well, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Chris Jones. I'm the co-founder and co-creator of the iPass marketing system. Now, what is iPass? If you're on this site and you've never heard of it, or maybe you've heard of it but didn't really know what it was, I'm going to explain that to you here in just a second. But let me explain to you how iPass came about and what's happened in the last 3.5 to 4 years that has led up to today, and why today is a really important time for you. So first of all, iPass stands for Internet Prospect Acceleration Systems. It's a fancy word that means basically how to get leads quickly, effortlessly, and turn them into customers in an automated fashion. So iPass is what I like to look at. My idea 4 years ago was to create a system that would almost franchise an internet business. I say almost because it's not a franchise, but I mean franchise style, whereas the procedures and the things that you do on a daily basis are almost to the point where they're paint by numbers or turnkey. So why is that? Well, when I started online 8.5 years ago, there was nothing of its kind. I had to learn how to drive traffic. I had to learn how to build websites and opt-in pages. I had to learn what converted and what didn't, which cost me a lot of money when I had to spend money to get advertising. And from there is, what did I do with those leads? How did I turn them into customers? I had no clue what I was doing. So luckily for me, I'm very persistent and determined, and I figured it out. And I had some really good coaches and mentors along the way. Well, I said to myself, you know, what if there's just a system that could provide this service to people that are trying to get into business selling digital products? Well, it only works with digital products because of the profit margins that you need to be successful. So iPass 3.5 years ago kind of came into my mind. My business partner Chris Campbell and I said, let's do this, let's build it, and we did. And 3 years ago, we had great success with this system. We made well over 7 figures with just the base iPass system that we launched. But unfortunately, we ran into some challenges. And those challenges were, it wasn't duplicating for the general population. The average person just wasn't quite getting it to work. So we stepped back and we said, you know, let's tweak this, let's do this. And we relaunched it again. And we started to see more and more people have success. So we're like, okay, we're on the right path, but it's not perfect yet. So we kind of stepped back for a little bit and did a lot of development and research and testing. And during that process, we've had a lot of great testimonials, which you've probably seen some of them. But needless to say, something came across our desk. For those of you watching this, you probably know what I'm talking about. Well, 2.5 years ago, Empower Network came across our desk, and we said, you know, this is interesting. And to my belief, I think that the Empower Network is 10+ years ahead of its time. Well, if you don't know why that is, I don't know why you're watching this video, but let me explain to you. Empower Network is not just an e-commerce company. Empower Network has some great digital products with a compensation plan that we all know is extremely lucrative, paying upwards of 100% commissions, which is a guarantee plus for this industry, because you know it's oftentimes very difficult to make any money making 10% like a lot of industries. So we start out with that. Now, they did something different. They took a digital company and started to run it, what I like to call, in a hybrid way. So they do events, they do webinars and coaching calls, and they allow team building, all things that normal e-commerce companies just don't do. So we said to ourselves, wow, what if we built the iPass system around this company? And the cool thing was, after having conversation after conversation with Dave Sharp and David Wood, they embraced our ideas. They embraced what we were all about. And again, another rare thing to find. So this hybrid business called Empower Network embraced the idea that we could build a platform around this to help you attract and accelerate how you get customers. We all know that the more customers you have, the more money in your pocket, especially if you do good business. So moving forward to today, in fact, actually, let's back up about a year. A year ago, we launched iPass through the Prosperity team, a merger that we did, and it's been a huge success. But it hasn't been perfect. It's been a very, very big success, and a lot of you watching this have had very good results using the system. Well, it wasn't quite what we wanted, and so we stepped back for a year now, and we've been building what we call iPass 2, a complete rebuild of what we know works. The only way for us to accomplish what we knew we had to do with Empower Network was to rebuild it from the ground up. So I'm going to explain to you now what that means and what you have in front of you, and then when you click the button down below here in just a second, you're going to learn how you can get this and how this can be part of your new business. So let's go ahead and continue. iPass is a linear approach to doing business online. Now let me explain what that means to you. So over the past year, we've been using iPass with the Empower Network with great success. A lot of you watching this have had some immense results with this, and some of you have seen the results that others have had, and so we've had a chance to gain a lot of data and to see what's working, what's not working, what can be done better. Now, when we originally brought in iPass into Empower Network, it was like fitting a square peg into a round hole. It didn't quite fit, and so we knew eventually we'd have to build it from the ground up to be catered to the exact model that Empower had. So during that process of us testing iPass 1, we went to work right away in rebuilding the system. So that is what we call iPass 2 now that we're launching to you. iPass 2 simplifies everything. And we know simplicity works. We know the simpler something is for your lead, the easier it is to get a customer, and the more money you're going to make in the long run. So here's how it works. iPass 2 is very simple. All you need to do is you're going to get a lead capture page, you're going to get a sales funnel essentially that sells our iPass Wealth formula. So instead of selling a $25 business or selling this opportunity or these products firsthand, which in fact will limit you in the long run, as we've noticed, the results we've seen has definitely proved that. But what this is going to do is now educate your consumer on why the Empower Network is the first choice in the industry, why it's going to help them, what iPass is going to do for them, and why this industry works and why it doesn't for some people. And why is it the same people that keep making the money over and over? So through education and awareness, we are going to turn those leads into high-ticket customers. Now notice I said high-ticket customers. We all can get $25 customers all day. That's what Empower Network does really well. But how do you monetize your business to be able to get that $3,000 commission or that $1,000, that $500 commission? That's what pays your bills every month. That's what pays for your new lifestyle. So you have to have that back end. So we created a front end, a middle, and an end. There's 3 steps, there's 3 ways to go through the system, or 3 paths, I guess you could call it. And what that means is you start out with a sales funnel that sells the iPass Wealth formula. It's a 12-step system. It's 12 videos that must be watched in order and completed in efforts to get the Empower Network products. They're not very long videos, but they explain the industry. They explain what works, what doesn't, why they need the products, why they need the leverage to be able to have a high ticket on the back end of your business. So during the process, they watch the 12-step videos, which we call our 6-figure shortcuts. Once they get through that, at about video 5 or 6, they're introduced to the Empower Network, and then they have a choice. They have one of 3 choices or all 3 choices that they can choose from. We call them our packages or our membership packages: Silver, Gold, or iPass Black. Now, these packages include the Empower Network products, but rather than explain all the Empower Network products and features and benefits, we don't want to confuse people. They know they need a product, they know they need to make 100% commissions, and they know they want that big ticket commission. So we combine the products in 3 simple packages. So essentially, it's a lot less confusing for the consumer to be able to make a decision. They can say, okay, I want an iPass Gold, I want to be able to make $1,000 commissions, I want these benefits from iPass at that package, done and done, okay? Now the cool thing about the 6-figure shortcuts is during that process of the 12 videos, it explains why they should go to Gold, why they should become an iPass Black member, what features and benefits are at those levels, and what income opportunities exist there. So rather than sell them on the mastery course with Empower Network, we sell them on what that's going to actually do in their life, what that's going to do to their business. And so it sets the stage and it sets the, I guess, the right attitude and the right prerequisite for them to be successful, something that has been missing for a long time now. So during the 6-figure shortcuts, they get through that, they choose a package, they buy it, they join Empower Network, they're plugged in, they immediately get iPass for free, meaning they get our mastery training, all the tracking and everything is right back there, which is world class. We redid that from the ground up so they can see their campaign stats in real time, their sales, their goals. We have a calculator, everything is there. And then from there, they get some additional resources. So if you're an iPass Black member, which is our premier membership level, that means you have all the Empower Network products. You get an iPass Black card in the mail, which a lot of you probably already have, which gives you different perks at events, it gives you different benefits and so forth. But it also allows you to make 70% on that front end product, which is going to help cover a lot of your marketing costs. So you're attracting people into the Wealth formula, they're paying $147 or $47, whatever it is at the time, and you're making 70% of that commission, which we pay you. Now, once they're in the formula, they learn why they need that top tier and that residual income to be able to make them the big money in the industry. And from there, that's where we actually allow iPass Black members to take it one step further, and that's where you can use a business coach. So what is a business coach? Well, let me explain real quick. We know one thing to be certain. If you have somebody on the other end of the phone or on the other side of the universe, wherever you're at, wherever your prospect is at, if somebody's there to talk to them and comfort them in their decision, you're going to have much better sales conversions, period. It's the reason why my business partners and I have had great success in this industry, because we've made it personal. A lot of you watching this that are leaders, you know what I'm talking about. So how do we duplicate that? Now, this has been a big challenge for us because it's not an easy process to duplicate hundreds and thousands of people to have a business coach or a sales rep. So we figured out something that I believe is going to change the game for all of you. Now, in the past, to get a sales rep or a business coach to call your leads and to work with them and comfort them and sell them, to do that, you had to pay a commission to them. Whenever they made a sale, 20% of your sales money, 20% of that 100% commission went to your coach, which, okay, that's doable. You're still making a good percentage, but that's money that you could have had. And so what we figured out to do is, the dynamic in order to eliminate the 20% commission, so you no longer have to pay that. So now, as an iPass Black Card member, no longer will you have to pay 20% commissions when a coach that you're using that's working on your behalf closes sales for you in the iPass system. No more commissions are paid out. This allows us to be able to charge a small monthly fee for you to use the coach, which is very minimal in the whole scope of things, but allows us to pay them a salary, allows us to bonus them internally, so we don't have to come to you for invoices and chase money and deal with that. So it duplicates better, we can scale it accordingly, and really reward the coaches that are doing an outstanding job on your behalf, so it's worry-free for you. And then whenever a $5,000 commission comes in, or $3,000 commission, no longer do you have to pay that 20%. So that's a pretty awesome deal, especially when those pass-ups start coming in. You're not paying a commission on a sale that you never got. So this changes the whole dynamic of the whole program and allows us to attract much better coaches and even better follow-up systems in the back end of the system. So that is a big piece of this whole pie. So iPass starts out with a funded proposal that shows them the wealth formula and the six-figure shortcuts on the inside. Once they say, yes, I get it, this is why I need $3,000 products, this is why I need a top-tier product to be able to make those big commissions, they buy by choosing one of 3 packages, and from there, they continue on to the system and they get set up, inserting their Empower Network into the iPass system, and they can press go. Now, we even took it another step further and offer resources like funding resources. We offer traffic resources. All of this is turnkey on the inside. So it's something we've been doing for a long time, but you have to have the right system to be able to make that stuff work. Well, we have that now. So how do you get iPass 2 and how do you start using this new system? Well, there's 2 things that we're trying to serve here by doing a pre-launch. The first thing is, for those of you that have existing teams, existing customers in Empower Network, we want to offer you iPass for free to all of your members. So what we want to do is get you into the six-figure shortcuts, get you promoting the iPass 2 system, so when we launch in 2 to 3 weeks, that you can have everybody positioned and really get this thing going. So we want to allow you to get in for free. The second purpose is we want you to make lots of money. And the reason why that's going to happen is during a pre-launch, it's going to bring new life into your business. It's going to bring new education. It's going to bring some new hope to the idea of attracting and managing and getting new customers. So that process will educate your customers of why the iPass Black Card is so important, why being all in Empower Network or being an iPass Black Card member is important, why it's going to make them lots of money. Hence, it'll increase the pass-ups and increase sales to you, as well as also allow them to be properly positioned in their business. Some people just don't know why they need to have other products. They think that maybe a $25 product is all they need, and even though they may have the money to spend, they just don't understand the logic of what that means to them. Well, that's what iPass is going to do. It's going to teach them and educate them and make them aware of why they need all these products and why they need a system to drive this vehicle for them. So first thing is to allow your members to get in for free. And the second thing is to make you lots of money through bringing new life to your business and to educate them as well. So our whole goal here is to include iPass into the overall spectrum of what Empower Network wants to do with their company. iPass is just one of the vehicles to attract new types of customers into that vehicle. I believe Empower Network is going to become a massive organization. I believe that it's going to stay ahead of its time. I know a lot of other companies right now are modeling after Empower, but it's up to us as marketers right now to be able to bring the masses in. People are standing on the sidelines saying, okay, it's that Empower thing. I've seen people make some money, but it's had its day or it's had its run. Well, lo and behold, do they know that this thing hasn't even started to take off yet. You know, you look at other companies and other MLMs, I'm just going to throw this out there because it's been on my mind. And I've seen and I know other network marketers that are making close to $1 million a month. I'm not saying that you're going to make that in Empower, that's not what I'm getting at here. But I know people personally that are making almost that much a month in network marketing companies off of 8 to 10% commissions. So you have to ask yourself, and I ask myself this every day, why is it that there aren't people making 10 times that in Empower Network with 100% commissions? Why is that? Well, I truly believe it's because it's a lack of systems, and I think that with the iPass 2 system connected to such a great company like the Empower Network, with leadership like yourselves, with entrepreneurs that have faith in what this can do for them and have the due diligence to be able to follow through with their business, we can bring some incredible things to people's lives, and I believe you can hit some incredible numbers for yourself. So we're doing everything on our end to make the best platform for you to be able to succeed, to take care of your traffic needs, to take care of your conversions, your leads, to make sure you get enough leads so you can get enough customers, and you know in the back end that you have a business coach there working for you 24/7 to help you get that top tier commission. Man, I tell you, when you start getting those $3,000 commissions every day, or 3 or 4 of them every day, it starts to change things quite a bit for you. So that's the whole goal of iPass, is to educate and make the consumer aware of why they must have all these products and why it's important to their well-being as a digital entrepreneur. Without those profit margins and without that top tier product, you're destined for failure. So we need to explain that and position them before they even get involved. So with that, this is iPass 2. All you need to do now, click the button down below. It's going to send you to the next page and give you all the resources that you can use to send out to your teams to get them involved for free. And then when we launch here in 2 to 3 weeks, you're going to have a business that will explode, and I truly believe that. So this is Chris. We'll see you on the next page. Bye-bye.